All right. Well, how are you doing today, Patrick?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm very good. So could you tell us a little bit about yourself, like your name, your major, state college you transfer from, anything that you might think be relevant?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so my name is Patrick Simmons. I'm a business administration. I'm in human resource double major.
Oh, wow.
I transferred over from Seminole State College. It's a state college in Sanford, Florida, Sanford Lake Mary area. I so right out of high school, it was about 2018 when I graduated year 2018.
Mhm.
Went into the state college, went 2 years there, got my AA, and then transferred over to Stetson. So that was my main transfer over to Stetson. That was really cool. I really liked it. Originally, I actually did a lot of push towards a couple of colleges. I also looked at UCF, I looked at UNF, I looked at like lots of options. So I actually kind of have at least a little bit of insight on the transfer process to a couple of schools and how that was like gonna look. But Stetson was really home for me. My dad also graduated from Stetson like way back, so I'm also a legacy student. So it was something big in my family as well.
That's
To
cool.
be blessed with the opportunity for Stetson.
That's great. Um, so how did you navigate the Stetson campus coming from your state college? How is it different? Is it larger? How much larger is it?
Yeah, so my college actually, I actually ended up being on the biggest campus, so it was actually pretty spread out. So it actually makes Stetson actually feel pretty small.
Interesting.
Stetson's not a huge campus. It's actually pretty contained. You can pretty much reach everything, and I'd say like max 15 minutes, like that, and that's even pushing it. Everything's pretty close together, which was nice. When it kind of came from the moving over, and kind of learning how to navigate the campus. One thing that I did early on to help me, because obviously when you jump into a new environment as a transfer student, sometimes it's like oh you're like because they help sometimes freshmen out, so it's like freshmen are
Mhm.
like oh it's like and they show you everywhere. But
Yeah.
I kind of knew as it being coming in as a junior, like I may not get as much help. I
Mhm.
actually ended up getting a lot of that help that I didn't
Oh, great.
expect. But I actually went to campus early, and I would kind of look around for the buildings and stuff that would fit my major, my expertise, and then also just ask questions. I think that was the biggest thing that helped me when it came to navigating campus. Was the ability just to ask questions because people in the Stetson community are very helpful and they want to help you. And they also know that the stronger that you make somebody else can actually help them later on as well. Because the stronger you are, the stronger the Stetson community is. So that really helped in that process.
That's great to hear. It's a great philosophy to have too. Um, so how was the academic environment different in Stetson from the college you transferred from?
Yeah. So I was blessed when I was at Seminole State College. I was in the honors program. So that kind of helped with the drive and the determination when it comes to academics. But I also at Seminole State took out of honors classes as well. So I kind of got a little taste of that as well. And I think overall, it would just be the consistency across the board when it comes to dedicated students.
Yes.
Because obviously, when you're at like a state college, sometimes there's students who are just kind of like doing it just to like get the AA or
Yeah.
just kind of just get enough.
Mhm.
But when I moved over to Stetson, it went like to a whole nother level where the professors, everyone in the community is looking for excellence, like striving for excellence, giving your best at all times, which really helps. And it really also pushes you to push yourself a little bit farther when it comes to looking at academics and really getting stronger in that. So I'd probably say the rigor, but then also like just the push, the determination for academics is probably the biggest difference that I saw.
That's great. Uh, so what are the average number of students in your classes? I know the website says there's a 13-to-1 faculty to student ratio, and would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, so one thing that and I actually learned this as well through the transferring process, the student to faculty ratios
Mhm.
are based on more on like population, like the size, because you could
Okay.
have something like say 50 to 50 people in a class in one like area, and then you could have say where you're doing your own like your own like independent study with another professor where it's one-on-one. For me, what I've seen is it is pretty accurate. I get about anywhere from like 13 to 20 students in
Mhm.
my classes, and then also I'm still even I still also have so many general ones because I'm still not at the senior level. Because when you get to like the senior levels where it's like only a specific group of people are going to, it shrinks down a good bit.
Sure.
So I think it will continue to kind of shrink. My first semester, my highest class that I had was 21, and they're usually pretty strict on like they don't let you go over. So like once the class is full, it's full, and most of them are on average 20. But I'm already starting to see like this semester I have one that has like 11, so it's already starting to kind of get smaller and smaller as I move along. So I would say it's pretty accurate overall.
Yeah, 20 is not bad at all anyways. That's great. So how would you feel the campus, how do you feel the campus resources for internships or volunteer opportunities are? Have you reached out and sought any of those yet?
Yes. So the career and development area at Stetson is really, really strong. It's probably one of the strongest points, and it's something I used very early on in the process of also like looking for jobs on campus as well. So what career and development does is we actually have like a whole like little website that we can submit resumes. We can ask about interviews, like so we can do practice interviews through them. Like they do like all kinds of stuff to kind of prepare us um, to like get those opportunities and stuff. Due to COVID and stuff this past semester and everything, the volunteer opportunities have been a little down. So I actually haven't had the opportunity to do volunteer within Stetson yet. But when it comes to the internship side, I've actually already worked on documents and stuff and working on that process for this summer, hopefully getting an internship and stuff. And they really do push that when we are at Stetson, it's not just for the now, it's for the later and it's for the future as well. So they really do a good job at driving that for those opportunities.
Well, that's great. Good luck with that.
Thank
And
you.
just to remind people that are watching this in the future, we also offer similar stuff like that at Lake-Sumter. So reach out to Career Development Services here.
That's
um,
great.
so do you live on campus or at home, or do you rent a place in the land?
Yeah, so I actually live at home. So my home is about 30 minutes south of DeLand. So it's a little tiny commute, not bad. I did grow up in Deltona, which is just a little bit east of the land. And then again, my dad went there as well. So I have a good understanding of what kind of almost all of them are in a way. But right now I'm commuting. But I definitely will probably try to live on campus relatively soon in the next up and coming semesters because it is a cool experience to have when you just are living on campus because
Yeah.
the Stetson experience never stops, which is pretty cool.
Do you know like people that have lived around there on campus? Because I know we have a few students that are looking into that and they'd like to know a little more.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I have friends who live on campus, and I also have friends who live like right off of campus as well. When it comes to the living on campus, they do a really good job at safety and protection, which is really big at Stetson. Safety is like one of our number one things, which is really good. But then also also the living spaces are really pretty nice. I actually everyone kind of gets along, and there's it's pretty cool when you can be in just such a cool tight knit community. Because when I say like the campus isn't like a gigantic campus, like your chances of getting lost, like at Stetson, where you're just like I have no clue, like I can't find anything, is very slim. So really that connection doesn't just stop when you're like when you leave your place. Like you really are connected and you're constantly passing people that you know that you would be living in your dorms with and stuff constantly and building that connection. But if there's any other questions about that, Caitlin Healy is someone who is really big in the transfer process. And I can also ask her those questions and send those out to any students who have those who want to know a little bit more about that and how that looks.
All right, great. Thank you. Um, so do you know anybody that's taken advantage of Stetson's design your own major sort of program they offer?
I actually do not. I actually had a friend who was looking into it, and then actually decided to go another way. Went with the double major. When it comes to double majoring, it kind of gives you at Stetson. They have such a broad amount of like looks at things that you can kind of get you can kind of almost make your own major without it just being titled that, if that makes sense.
Makes sense.
So there's kind of ways that you can kind of cross over to do stuff. So like I chose business administration and human resources. My focus on that was actually that I wanted it to be a human resource management focus, but I also wanted to make sure I had the business idea and like understanding behind that as well. So I kind of almost, and then with business administration, there's also lots of options that you can do it within that. So I kind of almost did my own little design my own
Yeah,
major by just going with the curriculum. But there's some pretty cool stuff I've heard about of them making like behavioral economics, like mixing those together, and health management. They do a lot of cool little things that you can mix together to really get the major that you want.
that is cool. I'll have to look into that some more. So how welcoming was the university as a state college transfer for you?
Yeah. So overall, it was actually, because I was nervous about that. I looked at it and I was like, how is this gonna look like when you just kind of, because you really are just like, you jump up to the like top level too, because it's not like you're walking in as a freshman, you're walking in
Yeah,
as like, I've already done a lot of like the classes, I already have a lot of the credits already. So I was like, how are people gonna look? Are they just gonna expect me to just see it thrown in there and not know what I'm doing? But really, I actually walked in and I could feel the family atmosphere in the community that Stetson brings. And that's something that has been really cool for me, and it's something that I really like love to give to other people. And it's funny, overall, the university really feeds off of that.
yeah,
We really all just like really helping each other really does help the community grow a lot. And that's what I felt right off the bat. Even in the summer, I was going on little sometimes they Stetson will do like little webinars and stuff. They're called cultural credits, actually. We all have to have 24 cultural credits by the time we graduate. Is where we get to learn different things that may not be in our area of focus,
Hmm.
but it kind of like broadens our views and understandings on lots of concepts. And like right when I went into that, it was already like I was just amazed by how much the professors or the people that were sharing just cared so much and wanted to get you involved and feeling comfortable and all that. So overall, I thought it was going to be a big thing. For me, became very quickly that I was very comfortable, and it was a really cool environment.
That's great. Definitely helps ease some of my concerns. So, uh, if you want to work on campus, what kind of opportunities are available for you?
Yeah, so our campus opportunities do change a good bit depending on what positions are needed on campus. Obviously, we have a lot of student workers in a lot of different areas. So actually, when I first got into Stetson, I actually got a job working an information desk.
Mhm.
So if you were to call the university, I was the one answering the phones, telling you, "Oh, here's who you need to talk to.
Yeah.
This is that." Really doing that, which was really cool. But then I later moved on to the position I am now. So I'm the professional development manager for the student
Oh, wow.
employment office. So that's pretty cool. I get to reach out to students and help them develop in our Stetson community. I'm helping those workers kind of um, learn how to handle everything, like so like time management, competencies that are like should be seen in the job, things like that. I kind of focus in on that. But overall, the amount of opportunities, there's lots, and Stetson does a very good job at preparing you to have a chance for those opportunities. That's where the career and development comes in huge with helping with your resumes and interviewing skills and all things like that. But then also the cool thing that I noticed was even through that process, it also gets you ready for when you need to step outside of Stetson as well. Um, so,
Yes.
uh, so overall, the work study and stuff is really amazing. I love it. Stetson also does a good job at not overwhelming you because they understand that
Totally.
you're students first as
Mhm.
well. So we do a really big job at making sure our supervisors understand that like the students are still students and we have a lot to handle on that side as well, so they don't overwhelm you. But then we also get that cool experience. So overall, I loved that.
It's great to hear. So if somebody was looking to apply for a position, when should they start?
Yeah. So right now, this is one of the fun things about being in student employment. Usually, we'd say usually in June.
Mhm.
Right now, because there's been a lot of government changing on rules and stuff, they're actually possibly saying that we could start even earlier than that, possibly, or like early June. But I did talk to the leader of the student employment office. Name's Nora Huth. If you ever need to contact her, um, she she has told me that we will be contacting any of of the students at Lake-Sumter, if you guys have or want to know that like first, we'll be giving you guys that information on when those jobs will be posted and available, so you guys aren't out of the loop on
That's
that.
great. Thank you so much. That'll be great to take advantage of. So that's all the prepared questions I have. If you have anything else you'd like to add about Stetson or transfer processes, I would
Yeah,
really appreciate it.
yeah, I'll share something real quick.
Mhm.
To anybody who's transferring, even if it's not Stetson, and Stetson, because one of the things that I care really about is that you find the right place for you.
Yes.
Um, but in the transferring process, just understand like overall there may be times of stress, or like I don't know what I should do, or like maybe I don't even know my major yet, and things like that. But to really be patient, and
Mhm.
to really just be constantly just driven, to always drive to find your dreams and to like make it to where you want to be.
Yeah.
Because if you constantly just do that, the transfer process will go so much smoother. One of my big things early on was trying to trust like where I was supposed to be. And I was very close to going to another university, but I kind of knew deep down in my heart Stetson was the place for me, but I wasn't sure how that was going to work out. But then I just started trusting it, and everything fell into place. So through the process, I know it can get stressful. I know it can be tough to think of your future and just being like, whoa, there's just so much going on. Like these are like really big decisions, but understand that like trusting and going 100%, those big decisions will impact your life even greater. So that's
That's
what I would say.
that's great advice. Well, thank you so much, Patrick. It was great meeting you.
Yeah, it's great meeting you. Thank you so much.